What's happening, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about full schedule tactic. This will be a very quick video because it's pretty much self-explanatory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some ways that I maintain a full schedule, but more importantly, what does it mean to have a full schedule and why do you do it? Well, a lot of the people that I deal with who are sponsees, one of the biggest problems they have is that they don't manage their downtime adequately. In other words, they'll just kind of come home and they might be good at managing time at work, but the second they get on their off time, they're all over the place. And if you're an addict and you're addicted to pornography, you're leaning into your vice as often as possible. Part of that problem is a cognitive problem, and some of that's just a scheduling problem. And the good thing about having a good plan, even when you're at home, is that the plan and the routine, the good routine, take over, right? So once you can start establishing a schedule for yourself where you're constantly doing and executing the things you say you're going to do, then the routine takes over itself and you're less likely to act out. Obviously, if you've got something scheduled that you're planned to do and you go do that thing, you're not acting out. You're not even putting yourself in a situation where it's logical or for you to be able to have any sort of triggering conditions because you're separating yourself, right? So keeping a good, tight schedule is just naturally going to keep you sober. So why not do that? And answering that why, it's usually because we have a lot of bad habits. A lot of us, we aren't used to planning out our downtime. And so as a natural result of that, we keep putting ourselves back in a position where all the temptations of life will start kicking in. All the situations in which you're normally probably going to be acting out are going to be facilitating themselves, and you're trying to just stay away from all the temptation. Well, scheduling will accomplish that. Quickly, I wanted to show you my own iPhone. So on the screen here, you can see a recording I have of my own iPhone, and I wanted to just go into the calendar. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a calendar day looks like for me. So here I've already planned out my day. I've got some events that are planned that are going to be instrumental for me being able to accomplish tasks that I have to complete. Typically, when we're doing tasks, you might have them inside of your mind and you're executing them as you go through the day, but actually having them like either written down or inside of some sort of digital format, when you can actually look at that task and know what you have to accomplish, it sort of kind of draws a line in the sand, like, no, this is the time that I get this thing accomplished, right? And so when you've accomplished the actual task management, you can actually see all the things you have to do. It kind of makes things a little bit easier, but it also sets into your mind very concretely that you have to do these things. So I've already set up in my day, and you can see that random tasks have already been accomplished. But also what I wanted to show you was some other features. If we go back to my cell phone, I not only use my iPhone calendar feature in order to manage all of the tasks that I already have scheduled, but I also use a to-do list. Now, some folks will use the iPhone to-do list, and you can use that. That's not a problem. I use the iPhone. I used to use the iPhone list all the time. I, however, have switched over to using the Microsoft to-do list. It's just a preference for me. But with my Microsoft To-Do, anything that hasn't become a scheduled item yet, I have on the task list. And what that does is it allows me to just kind of brainstorm and say, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Once it's on this list, I haven't transferred it over to a date and time yet, right? So this is just an unorganized, I need to do this. And so one of my first things that I do every single day is I look at my task list and I say to myself, okay, when is this going to get done? And so when I'm asking that question, I'm forcing myself to look at my task list and say, what is the date and time I'm going to accomplish this task? And so once I know what that time is, I go back over to my calendar and I set up a new entry. So for example, if I wanted to knock out installing the filters for air conditioning, I'm not going to check it off on my to-do list yet. I'm going to go back over to my calendar and I'm going to add it today. I'm going to do it, actually, let's just call it a 2 o'clock item. So I'll say, let's do it 1:45. Check air filters. So I'm going to set a little reminder for myself that it's going to be happening 10 minutes prior to due time, and I'll set it up for 1:45 and add it. And now I can see the check air filters is out on my calendar. So that's exactly what needs to happen. As I start using the to-do list, I can go back to the to-do list. And when I accomplish that task, I can just check it off. The calendar helps me manage the time element of things, but the task list is more of the brainstorming, organizing things. But it's important that I make that transition from this should happen to putting it to the calendar, which it now has to happen. By keeping a very tight schedule, I can go back and look at my calendar and just see how things are throughout the day. And if I see that by the time that I've gone over to checking the air filters and now I have to be able to take somebody to the dentist, I know between that time, if there's any loose time or whatever, I can, either go back to reading or doing something. All your little to-do items, like, whether it's reading, watching TV, it's best if you possibly can to actually throw them in. If you want to spend an hour watching TV, hey, I've got no objections to that. Watch TV. If you want to play some video games on a console, hey, do that. But if you're going to do that, put it on a calendar so that you can see and comprehend that you have a start and you have an end time, and you know when that time is going to be. And this way it's going to help flesh out long-term goals that you have and the short-term goals. And sometimes those short-term goals, they can be things that fulfill you. It can be video game play, something small. It could be something bigger, gardening, whatever those things are. You're making sure you try to get as much of that as you possibly can in your schedule, and you have a set time for doing it. And, leaving a little flexibility in there, because we all know, I have kids too. We all know that little things are going to pop up. So it's okay to have a little bit of flexibility in that schedule. The important thing is that you're executing that timely to-do list on a regular basis, and that's going to allow you less downtime. What do they always say? Hey, you know what? Idle time is the devil's workshop, and there's a little bit of truth to that. I'm Road to Recovery. I hope you enjoyed this. Please stay on that road to recovery. Like, share, and subscribe. Helps me pass on the word to other porn addicts. I greatly appreciate your time. Have a good day.